What was that like recording the record?
It was so emotional. It was, you know, the first day in the studio was literally the first day that the five of us were standing in the same room. You know, we had been doing Zoom calls and telephone calls, and I was on tour with the Winery Dogs when we announced the reunion. So the first day in the studio was, it was incredibly emotional, you know, hugs and kisses all around, and everybody just so excited to get to work. And, you know, it's funny because we announced the reunion and immediately went to work on the album. So we spent most of 2024 in the studio in secrecy. So even though the reunion went, you know, it was announced in October of 23, it wasn't until October of 24 when the tour started that the world got to see the five of us together. But we had already spent almost a year making this album. But we immediately went to work, immediately started jamming, and just the ideas were flowing like no time had passed. I mean, it just felt like, I mean, I've said this before, but the process was the same as it always was, going, at least on all of my Dream Theater albums. The process was we get together, clean slate, throw ideas out, jam on them, arrange them, eventually get the body of the music together, track the drums, track the other instruments, then we'll write the vocal melodies, then the different lyricists will go off, write their lyrics, James will come in and do his vocals, and that's the process, and that's the way the process has been in my time in the band since day one. So the process was exactly the same. It felt like no time had passed since the Black Clouds sessions, like 15 years earlier. But we, you know, we're older, we're wiser and more mature, a little more mellow, a little more easygoing, and the way I had to like kind of get comfortable back in the band with like the decision-making process and things like that. It was a little bit of a learning curve. I had to come in very respectful of all the years that they went without me, and I didn't want to come in and step on anybody's toes or try any drastic changes. So I had to just feel out the process, but the process was the same as it always was.
And did you find, like, you had played with so many different bands over that 13-year stretch, and with the other guys doing what they were doing for that amount of time, did you find that there were a lot of like new ideas that came pretty easily just because you were basically in this melting pot of different experiences where you had been together through everything for leading up to that?
I don't think anything was different. We, except for, like I just said, we were older, wiser, more mellow, a little more experienced. You know, we had those years of playing with other people to bring to the table.